Up next on The Way of the Renaissance Man, talking politics, protests, surfing, and unsavory agents with guerrilla artist Sabo.
Welcome to the Way of the Renaissance Man podcast. This is a show about ideas, personal empowerment, and celebrating the rational life. Our goal is to help each other discover the tools needed to better focus our minds, integrate our thoughts with actions, and live the lives we really want. I'm your host, Jim Woods.
In this episode, Jim speaks with a provocative, outspoken, and politically unconventional street artist known as Sabo. Sabo is a true rebel. He's a political activist who uses art to make poignant and often uncomfortable points about political figures on the left. He also pokes fun at cultural figures who he sees as worthy of his satirical ire. In this discussion, you'll learn about Sabo's counter-protester adventures at Antifa rallies, as well as his love for work and his dismissal of vacations. You'll also find out how he views creating art as similar to a pianist playing music. Plus, find out why Jim and Sabo agree that when it comes to life, you can't be wishy-washy in your views. And the more real you are, the more respect you earn. And now, here's Jim's conversation with the inimitable Sabo.
So we haven't had a person on the podcast yet who is a badass artist. So I said, who can we find who's the coolest badass artist out there? Someone who actually agrees with my ideas. So I found Sabo. What's up, man? Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. So, so is this your first FreedomFest?
You know, it is. It's interesting because usually when you go to a political thing, you can almost predict what the booths are going to be like. This one's like, it's very, I hate using the word like diverse.
It is,
but it's different. I can give you that.
Yeah, it's well, that's what I like about it. Just so everyone knows, they might be listening to this a couple months from now. We're broadcasting here at the Freedom Fest 2019, and it's like the liberty loving conference. There's all kinds of people. There's people like as diverse as from artists like you to like Steve Forbes and all kinds of like guys in the financial and economic industry. That's my professional focus is the stock newsletters and picking in the markets and economy and stuff. But of course I also have the show too. Yeah. So, and one of the reasons I like coming here is because there's a lot of different people. I could talk to tons of different people with tons of different ideas, and it's all good. We all kind of acknowledge that you're part of like a bigger picture. But you have such an interesting story. So for those who don't know, tell them how you kind of came into the public eye.
I've always loved art. But first I always loved politics. Like when I was 5, 6 years old, I was a political junkie. Yeah. I would watch Rocky and Bullwinkle, and then I would watch a round table at like 6. It was ridiculous. And then one day I just acquired all the creative skills that I needed to like create things. And the two came together one day and I found a voice. And Unsavory Agents, I believe it was Rumsfeld that said, he was giving a speech one day, like 99 or 98. He said, the CIA will no longer use unsavory agents to do the government's work. I was like, wow, unsavory agents, that sounds cool.
That name resonated with you. And that's your brand.
Yeah, that's my brand. And then people call it a brand. I just always call it a name, but I guess, it is a brand. And then I was in the tanks in the Marine Corps. I was an the last of the M60's tankers. And they had like 5 primary rounds, but the most primary one is like a Sabo round, but it's spelled with a T at the end. And I took the T out because I didn't want people asking me, is your name Sabot?
Yes.
So it's like, it's pronounced Sabo.
It's Sabo.
Yeah. And then people give me shit because they're like, oh, you want to be like Basquiat. They called him Samo. I'm like, come on, man. It's like, no. No.
Yeah, you and Basquiat have a way different philosophical approaches to art.
I can appreciate what he did. Obviously, I love the looseness of the things that he does, and I'm so like stringent. But I've since learned how to loosen up a bit.
Right. Now tell me about your artistic philosophy. How did you get started with art, and how did you mold that kind of your artistic vision into the stuff you do?
Well, I went to the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, where I studied advertising. And their philosophy is you should be able to create from concept to completion. So that means if I have an idea right now, I need to be able to like think of it, polish the thought, produce it on a computer, print it, do whatever I have to do, make a website, and then present it, I guess. And in doing so, I learned all the typical things like Photoshop, Illustrator, video editing. I learned HTML.
Yeah, all the stuff, the skills of the day, so to speak.
I'm sorry. One day I woke up and I had all these skills, and I'm working for a bunch of dumbass. Can I cuss?
Yeah, of course. So you can say, hell yes, you can.
I'm working with all these dumbasses, and I'm like, what are you doing this for, man? It's like, why don't you just do your own thing? And I starved for quite a while, and then one day, and I kept hearing the word monetize, and I kind of like embraced it, and I figured, fuck, let's find a way to make $1 or $2.
Now, what year is this about, approximately?
I mean, as far as the art, I could say safely, I would say it started in like 97.
Okay.
It's like, it kind of kicked into a different gear around 99.
So you've been at it about 20 years or so.
Yeah, about a little more. But then I thought Hillary was going to come in next. We were all expecting Hillary.
Right.
And
the whole world was,
Yeah, Obama pushed her out.
Right.
And I was like, whoa. So at that time, I really kicked it into gear. I really wanted to hit her. And then boom, Obama came on the scene. And then it's kind of just been in a different gear ever since then.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us about the themes of your work. Now I know what they are, but tell everyone what you're kind of.
It's all political. It's like if it's not political, it doesn't turn me on. It's like every now and then I may do something, but it just in my brain it just seems pedestrian. It's like I know people that do beautiful work, but I call it wallpaper. It's just beautiful wallpaper. And I mean, if it's not doing something or if it's not trying, and what really upset me about a lot of the artists in Hollywood is while the 8 years of Obama, they disappeared. They never criticized him. I'm like, dude, this guy's dropping Hellfire missiles on wedding parties. It's like, where are the posters for that? And we want to give the first black president a chance.
Yeah, it gets forgiven when you kind of when you're an advocate for a certain side, the critical aspects fall to the wayside.
Yeah, and my thoughts on that is, if you truly believe, if you're truly not a racist, if you truly want to hold everyone on equal footing, you would have held his feet to the fire the same way you would anyone else.
Right.
But I learned something else also is when Bush was in office, especially right at the end, there was an anti-war rally every other week. And the moment Obama was elected, the wars didn't end, but the rallies did.
Right.
And that's when I knew they weren't anti-war rallies, they were anti-Bush rallies.
Right.
And what happened? And the same thing's going on now. It's like the moment Trump got into office, boom, rallies galore, man. And you find out that it's a cottage industry for some people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Antifa explosion thing has been a big thing. Now you've been on the front line yourself with some of that stuff. Tell me about that. I heard some stories, man.
Yeah. I must have gone up to Berkeley like 6 times, and at least 3 of them, at the very least 3 or 4 of them, was to like visit with Antifa, and they're just a bunch of idiot kids, or upper middle class. They're all white kids,
the privileged class.
Privileged college kids. Their fathers are college professors, lame as fuck, and. No, it's just fucking lame, man. And they have a token black every now and then, or a token. No, you talk to the Proud Boys. Half the fucking Proud Boys are Mexicans, right. And they get heat for that. But what is it? Yeah, I'd go up there to like protect people. Someone would say, there's a speaker, they need protection. So I would go up there, more times than not, with the Proud Boys. I'm a second-degree Proud Boy. They beat me up here in Vegas, actually. I was wearing a suit, and in a parking lot, I had to name 5 cereals. But I told them, I can't go to all the meetings, dude. I'm 50 years old.
Yeah, the boy moniker doesn't really kind of work for those of us like you and I, a little over 50.
Yeah, seasoned citizens. I mean, I could almost get like the early bird special. I'm so, but what is it? But I love those guys. They're really misrepresented by the media. And a lot of people buy what people say, which is sad. Right. But so yeah, I went to the Battle of Berkeley, and it sounded like a damn war. It's like when I walked there, I went the first time I went to document it. So I had all my camera equipment, and the police were checking us and taking away anything they thought could be a weapon. So they tried taking my tripod. I said, it's a tripod. You could use it as a weapon. So then I walked around the other way, and they let me in. Those police let me in. But when Antifa showed up, they walked in a column, and they lifted all the barriers and went under the barriers or moved them aside. And the cops didn't only not take away their weapons. When Antifa broke ranks and had a pizza party, the police cleaned up after them. And I have video of it. So I'm like, so yeah, Berkeley's way in the pocket on their side. And so yeah, the fight started, got pepper sprayed. It was a glorious day.
That was a few years ago, right? A couple years ago?
Not this April, the last April. And then, of course, Charlottesville happened. It's like... Were
you there?
No. And I don't want to say that I wish I was there, because I don't. Because a lot of really weird stuff is happening on the right. It's like, it's almost as though you get a lot of passionate people who know very little about politics, and they just act wrong. They think that they're doing well. And the moment someone says, we're having a white pride rally or something like that in Charlottesville, I'm like, dude, that just doesn't even sound good. Not even that. I'm brown as hell. I was like, what are you guys thinking? And the moment I saw the tiki torches and white shirts, I was like, you're being set up. This is a setup. And then someone says, hey, you see that dude? He's the guy that tried to interview you in Berkeley. It was, what was his name? I forget his name, but he was the one that threw Charlottesville. And I'll try to remember his name. I want to say Charlie Kirk. It wasn't Charlie Kirk. I forget that guy's name.
Charlie doesn't impress me as a guy who would want to be out on a team. And I got that kind of a rally.
But he had black hair. He'd colored his hair black. And I looked at him and I was like, damn, that is him. And he used to work for Obama. And at that point I said the whole thing was a setup. And now it's like the pinnacle of white nationalism and white racism in America, and it was just one whole setup. So, and I guess the whole point is, after that happened, the very next Antifa rally in Berkeley was just brutal. I mean, they showed up by the thousands and just like...
That's their home turf.
Yeah, and I didn't show up to that one because I knew it was going to be a shit show. And so whatever. It's interesting going up there.
So... I remember a couple of times, let's get back to your art for a second, because I discovered it. I'm from LA, I live in LA. I was driving around one time and I see this billboard and I'm like, what? What's that? It didn't make sense to me that it, like this, like kind of, out of the box, like kind of critique of, I think might have been the Breitbart one, but it wasn't the Breitbart one. It was another one. What are some of the ones that you're most famous for? Some Hillary. I know. I think I saw a Ted Cruz one that I liked.
Ted Cruz ones, Obama drones, Hillary. I put up some Wendy Davis. Recently, I've been taking over some billboards. But the thing is, my stuff gets taken down so fast. Yeah. It's like, I don't expect it to stay up very long. That's why it's important to take photos and video and document it while I can.
What's the time frame you think? You put something up and it goes down in a couple of days?
2 days is the most. It usually goes down that morning or that afternoon.
Right.
So I learned to master the walls that I hit are your computer walls.
Right.
It's like if I can really make it go viral and have millions of people see it on a computer, I did my job.
Right, so, I got you.
But you wind up chasing your own tail after a while doing that. It turns routine and you get a little bored. And I'm looking for other things or other approaches. So, and I'm finding them. I just have to manage my time better to execute them.
Yeah. Now, speaking of that, so this show is all about kind of it's about how to be a Renaissance man, basically. You know, how to kind of do a lot of different things. You've done a lot of different things in your career.
Yeah.
You know, and so how do you like kind of combine the political activism, the art, and just a regular kind of life as well?
It is my life. I mean, it is. It's like my neighbors will literally knock on my door and say, "Will you stop working?" It's like, dude, my brother asked, "Have you ever been on a vacation?" I'm like, no. I mean, people are all the time going, "Hey, I got a mansion in Hawaii. You want to drop by? It's yours if you need it." I ain't got time for that, man. It's like, I'm working.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very similar.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like what people say, well, when are you going to start having some fun? I said, well, what do you think I'm doing right now?
Yeah, you know, it's fun. I mean, there's a lot that makes it unfun. It's like when things are expected of you, then it becomes unfun. It's like you'd be surprised. I'd get congressmen, senators, or whomever asking me to help them out, and I really don't want to. It's like half the times I don't even know who they are or what they represent. And it's like, at that point, then it becomes a job. I mean, I like being able to walk outside and see two birds hit and boom, an idea. Because at that point, every aspect of that job is like a domino that's already set up. And I'm skilled enough to just hit, and the project's already done in my head at that point. I mean, I like it when someone's sitting behind me and they're like, "It looks like you're playing the piano with your computer," because it's with me, it's just so. So you know, I spent a lot of years learning how to play the keys, and now it's like all I have to do is think of a song, and it's just like boom, I create it really quick, and you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, you just switch heads and stuff on pictures." It's like, well, you do it. Let's see how you do it. And more times than not, they suck. Yeah. Oh, and when I get interviewed, I tell people, ask me the hardest questions you want. I'm not going to walk out. I mean, so long as you know, leave the family out of it.
Do it with respect. Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Leave the family out of it. Who I sleep with is none of your business.
Right.
But yeah, man, ask, are you a racist? Do you hate black people? Ask me whatever the hell you want.
I would ask you that, but I already know the answers. So
yeah, I'm not
yeah, exactly.
It's like, I grew up in South Texas where 90% of the people are brown. So I never grew up thinking I was a minority. You know, I just thought I was a person.
Are you of Latin descent?
Yeah, it's like my family came here in like the 1600s. The King of Spain gave us an island. We set up missions, and we've been here ever since. It's one of those, you land, you burn your boats, and you have sex with the natives. You know, they're home now.
That's most of the population of Mexico.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's where I'm from. So,
and I love screwing with the Mexicans, man. It's like, dude, when you drive by, you better say thank you, because if it wasn't for us, your ass would be chopping off heads and rolling them off the pyramids. And look what's happening. Look what
that is a bloody history of our people.
And they're like, you don't honestly think the small amount of Spaniards that came here did that, do you? No, your people helped us because they were tired of their shit. And it was like, so the car that you're driving, the clothes that you're wearing, the air-conditioned home that you're going, with the computer and the television set, you're welcome. It's like, fuck you guys. But anyways, they're family. You know, they're my family. I'm like, you know what?
Right.
Fucking have some respect, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, you live in LA, right? Now you're like, so I mean, it's a very Mexican-centric town. So.
Yeah, you know, the thing about people like that, the thing about rough cut people like that is, you can't be wishy-washy. I mean, you got to stand by your word, because eventually they'll look at you, no matter how much you piss them off, they'll go, this guy's for real. You know, he's not bullshitting.
Yeah, I found that like, it doesn't really matter the race of the person or the kind of even their ideas. If they're true to themselves, you got to give them respect.
Yeah.
You know, but most people aren't. Most people, they just kind of want to adopt a philosophy to get themselves fit in, or to kind of work around and like just, you know, get along and stuff like that. And I guess I understand that to some extent, but it seems to be a little bit of a false life.
Well, I would hesitate to say I understand why they do it,
right?
But I don't understand why they do it, because it's like I run across a lot of people. There's a number of people out there that want to try and do what I do, but one, they realize how hard it is, and two, they're very willing to do whatever's asked of them. So I'm not. It's like I want to do what I'm going to do, and I've done that long enough to where people expect that of me.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah, if someone tries to hire you for a project, they're not going to say, "Oh, but we want you to change your views a little bit on this or that."
Yeah, I've had like Vice say, "Hey, we'll give you a show. You want a show?" But every now and then we want you to take on Trump. I'm like, well, how about no? I don't need your show on Vice.
Right.
It's like, no, it's fine.
So tell me, if you don't mind talking about this, what is your main source of revenue? How does the Sabo brand kind of come into?
Well, the thing is, I used to take photographs, put the posters up, take photographs, put it on social networking on my platforms. But then I learned to submit my photos to publication and things like that, and then they would run with them. And if they go viral, then people go to my website and they buy posters and T-shirts, which a lot of people would sometimes give me crap about. But it's like, I'm not relying on being monetized by YouTube. I'm a capitalist, and it's like, but more importantly than that, it's like surfing a wave. It's like I don't just have any stupid idea and put it out there. It's like, when you're surfing, you're looking at the sets that are coming in. And so the sets that I'm talking about is, okay, Jeffrey Epstein is in the news, Tarantino's coming out with a movie, how can I merge the two?
Yes.
And the reporters will be falling all over themselves to write a story if it's a good hit. So I set my board up just right. And I've been doing it long enough to where I can catch that wave more times than not.
Right.
And whereas if you were to come up to me and say, hey man, I have an idea, I want you to hit this person, I would tell you, you know what, I can create the art, I can get it out into the street, but it's not going to get covered because there's no reason to cover it. So it's like you really have to find that sweet spot. And then if you hit that sweet spot, it goes viral, then you can maybe make your money back by sales.
The surfing thing is a good analogy because you don't want to just jump on any wave because maybe it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
You got to wait for the right one. You got to paddle out just far enough, but you got to also be kind of at one with the sea and with the kind of the sea of ideas coming out there, because there's a lot of ideas that no one really knows which ones are going to kind of take hit. But if you're a seasoned surfer, you know that wave that's going to be right.
Yeah. So, I'm a Laird Hamilton or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I do. And the whole thing about Mexicans, I remember in the Marine Corps, I love the beach. I hang out at the beach, so all my friends are surfers. And it's like, it's not my fault they're white. It's like the people that go to the beach in South Texas are all brown.
Right.
I just love the beach and the people that go to the beach. Once I went to have lunch, we were at Okinawa, and my buddies, they were doing whatever they were doing. And I know a lot of Mexican dudes. I sat at the table, and this one Mexican dude from LA is like, oh, so you're going to sit with us today, huh? I'm like, what? Whatever. And Gutierrez over there, he's looking over like, dude, I don't know what his problem is. And he just kept going on. I said, he just kept going on me. I'm like, dude, what do you want me to do? Move to East LA and buy a Chevy? Is that going to make you happy? and he's like,
yeah, you want me to fit the stereotype or what?
And he's like, yeah, you move to East LA, you buy a Chevy, and a real Mexican's going to kick your ass. And that's not what pissed me off. What pissed me off is I looked at him, and he says, yeah, I'm fucking with you. And when we get back up to the squad band, I'm going to fuck with you some more. And I got up and I punched him in the face, and I just beat the hell out of him. And I figured, why do I have to put up with this?
Right.
So anyways, that's what I got to work
that's
with.
The essence. That's a Sabo. That's a Sabo essence right there.
See, let me tell you, that guy never opened his mouth again.
Of course not.
And see, that's what a lot of these millennials don't understand. They're so busy trying to create safe spaces. Sometimes you'll find your best friend by beating the hell out of them.
Right. Right. So when I was a kid, high school, we get in fights, and guess what? That guy was my best friend, because you're like, okay, who are you? You're testing me. I'm testing you. You're not a punk. I'm not a punk. Let's, now we got like a mutual thing in common.
Yeah. Let me tell you, dude, I am 5'5" on a good day, and it's like when you're in the Marine Corps, and I think I was all of 120 pounds, 5'5", and I'm dealing with all these guerrillas that are learning how to kill people.
You gotta grow some balls.
Well, see, the thing is, as a kid, I always knew you have two choices as a small kid. You can take shit or you can hit back.
Right.
I always hit back. And I was top 3%. They say I was accepted into Annapolis. I said, no, thank you. I said, no, thank you. I did my 4 years. I got out, top 3%. I excelled up until about a year and a half, at which point I was like, why the hell am I even in here, man? I did my 4 years and I got out.
Yeah, if you're not going to make it a career, like I was in the Army, if you're not going to make it a career, towards the end of that stint, you're looking at that calendar like, I got 6 more months, I got 2 more months, It's a good thing to be, you're a short timer. It's you get anxious to leave. So, all right, so I'm mindful of your time now if we want to wrap this up, but what I want to know is tell everyone how they can get in touch with your art. Where can I go if I want to see some Sabo?
All right, you can go to unsavoryagents.com. That's just one word, unsavoryagents.com. By all means, I love haters. I won't block you. I sell t-shirts there, posters there. I also have like youtube.com/unsavoryagents. And I think it's also Unsavory Agents on Instagram.
Okay.
So
I'll have links up on my website to it as well.
And this sounds funny to say, but it's like I really can't get the work out there on the street if I don't like get donations or purchases or something, because if I do a billboard, that's $5,000. I got to make my money back and hopefully make a little more. That way I can pay the landlord.
Right.
So it's like...
we're in it for a profit.
Yeah, well, I'm in it to not be homeless as well.
Right.
And it's like, a lot of people think I'm super rich. It's like, dude, not really. It's like, I leave a lot of, I shouldn't leave a lot of money on the table, but I'm just focused on the art.
Yeah, you're on a mission to change things. So
pretty much.
I appreciate that, man. I love it. Thanks a lot. Thanks for doing the show.
Sure, thanks for having me, man.